The following are the questions that we got from the last clip on effective study habits. The first one is from Joyce. What are the best ways to improve my reading speed without losing understanding of what I'm reading? Joyce, what you're told is that you only do something with speed if you have created mastery of the same. And how do you create mastery? It's all about understanding the reading strategies that every time you read, you may need to go back over and over again for you to understand it better, create mastery, and once you create mastery, then it will be easier for you to get to learn and improve on your reading speed. In the same case, it happens when you want to, we have a whole topic on how to pass in mathematics. And this topic, we always say, once you have done a sum and you have gotten it to the end, don't say that you have gotten it and you fold your hands. You may need to keep on repeating over and over, and that's why practice increases the mastery, as we also increase on anything else that we could be talking about. So basically that is how to deal and increase your reading speed. Samson, how can I stay focused when reading long books or notes without getting distracted? Samson, allow me to tell you that losing focus or having low concentration span is not a sin. It's just drifting from whatever it is that you're doing. So how do you do this? Number one, we have a full topic on how to stretch your concentration span. But maybe to give you a bit of preamble on whatever it is that the first aid on this particular bit, I would always tell you the brain is the most receptive organ in our bodies. And every time you have something, you tell the brain to concentrate. These are topics that I'll be doing in the next few on how to stretch our concentration span. And I'll use a scientific finding called the 20 minutes rule, where you tell your brain, concentrate for only 20. And if you're able to concentrate for 20 minutes without losing for 14 times on the 20 minutes, then it means your brain will have captured the 20 minutes concentration span, and with this we'll be able to get to stretch and elongate our concentration span. Wamboi, is it better to read a lot of pages at once, or should I break it down into smaller sections? Wamboi, reading is easy. And like we said, everything in life is governed by laws. There are laws that govern how to read. And one of the laws is always use the objectives. So we don't have to read so much, because the way the curriculum is actually set, we are always told every subject has its topics, and every topic has its specific objectives, and it is from these objectives that the examinations are set. So what do we need to do? Instead of seeking to understand or read too much or so many of the objectives, then read an objective, get clarity on the same, create mastery on the same, clarify what is not clear before you go to the next one. So what I would advise is the way our curriculum is actually set, read objective by objective. Number 4, George, what strategies can I use to remember what I read, and especially when I'm studying for the examination? There's a full topic that we call the laws of retention. And the way to do this is that for you to be able to understand, number one, remember you cannot retain or extract that which you have not been able to acquire. So for you to retain or to remember, you must have developed the interest to acquire. And basically, that is where it all starts. But in all the questions that we are talking about, they actually have more material. And basically, I'm actually going to take step by step on all the questions, propound them on full sessions, and then with this, we'll be able to get to this. Joe, this is Lydia. How can I make reading more interesting and especially when the material feels boring or difficult? Simple, Lydia. Lydia, I would encourage, and what one of the things that has actually worked for me and all the students that have seen their marks grow from either E to A minus because we already have them and we already have quite a number of them, what did we do? We need to create to get a good reason to want to do it. At times when you're unwell, you don't take the drug because it is sweet, but you take it because of the bigger picture. And what is the bigger picture this time round? It's a picture that, yes, once I take it, I'll be able to heal. What's the bigger picture in academics? So, Lydia, what I would tell you is get a good reason. Like for my case, I really worked so hard because I wanted to get my mom out of poverty. So when you get a good reason, then it gives you a reason to want to do it regardless of the emotional inclination or whatever you feel at that particular time. Should I read out loud or silently when studying for an important test, and does it make a difference? This is a full topic on the different types of learners. There are those ones who read. There are three types of learners. There are those ones that are called visual. Those ones, they read by seeing. And once they read by seeing, these are people, once they see, they're able to capture the concept or the content. So those ones, they have a higher way of getting the information through silent reading. But there are those other ones that are called auditory types of learners. And this type of people, at times they like bringing it out. They like voicing it out so that they hear it. Their brain is wired to be able to get this information in a way that they are able to. So the most important thing is understand the type of a learner that you are. Although I'm also going to give you my contact later so that now I can be able to pick you from where you are. Ruth, question 7. How do I deal with distractions when reading at home or in places that aren't quiet? The reading environment. Science tells us one thing. The reading or the brain is wired in different ways. There are people who read better in distractions like music. There are other people who also are able, now they are wired to get information better once they read in a silent way. Like for me, I like reading from a very silent position. So, to deal with distractions, number one, get a place in that house where there are less distractions. You can be very sure, for obvious reasons, the sitting room cannot be there, cannot be the place we are talking about, because of course maybe there's a lot of movement, maybe the TV is on, maybe the radio is on. So basically, getting a place maybe in the bedroom whereby you'll be able to do this and tell people for that is totally out of bound, then that might be able to help us get there. Martin, is it helpful to highlight or take notes while reading, and how can I do this effectively? Let's go back to the type of a learner that we are talking about. You're going to realize that the visual type of learners, they like highlighting. And in fact, but I've told you I'll share this in a full the full program. What we normally do is that this type of learners, they are able to attach certain meaning to certain colors. For example, because they are visual, they are able to identify a definition once it is highlighted with a certain color. And that's why we say, if you are that kind of a learner, the visual type of a learner, highlight things like definitions, give them one color. If it's about the material facts, give it another color. If it's about the conclusion, give it another color. So that every time they look, they'll always be able to be attaching the color with the definition. They'll be able to be attaching them. Basically, that is how the brain is wired. And again, depending on the type of a learner that you are. But that one, we recommend more for the visual types of learners. We have Carol. How do I choose the right books or study materials that will